this is Letitia from Pivotal Products, coming to you today with another episode of Pivotal Talks. Yeah. So today we're talking about natural versus organic. And we're going to talk about some of the things and misconceptions that are out there about natural versus organics, how the two are similar, and then also how the two are different. So, of course, you know me, I'm Letitia. I am an entrepreneur. I am a veteran formulating chemist for Pivotal Products and Pivotal Customs. So 30% of Americans are concerned about the credibility of the natural or organic claims that's out there for cosmetics. Those claims come and concerns come from raw materials, be it chemical or packaging. It can be the water source, if it includes the amount in which it's recycled, the biodiversity, meaning how well does it protect our ecosystems, and then greenhouse gases, as far as the CO2 and ozone depleting substances that's out there, or chemical waste, which is the total amount of well initiatives and stuff like that that goes on with the byproduct. So natural. Most people think that natural feels better. The natural origin of every ingredient in cosmetics has gone through some type of synthetic process to reach cosmetic grade that we're acceptable with. So there's no standard definition out there for natural ingredients, but there are a lot of processes that may be taken to get to that natural ingredient. So we want to know, how many processes does it take for an ingredient to no longer be classified as natural, first of all, and then how many ingredients can cause allergy or irritations to flare up. Then we want to know if it's non-toxic, if it's clean, natural. These are all safe marketing terms that are out there, but there is no clear definition on what natural is. So when we go to organics, it's usually used for marketing purposes when it comes to cosmetics. There is no legal description, and commercially driven businesses have created a certification to kind of certify companies within their ethos or what they think organic means in personal care products. And this is why there's so many out there. And at the end of this talk, we'll talk about who they are, what they do, and of course they make a lot of money because companies are looking for these certifications. And even going to the government side, as far as the FDA and the USDA, they're still looking for those certifications. So we're going to break that down within this talk on how that comes about. So what does organic mean? It really depends on who you ask. If you ask me, a chemist, I'm going to tell you that organic means a chemical compound that contains carbon. So, you know, being in school or having any knowledge of organic chemistry, you know that there's endless chemicals that are there for reactions between hydrocarbons, oxygen, nitrogen, and a whole lot more. So carbon-14 is what we do as a timestamp or dating we do it with ecological or research find when they find bones and things of that nature. So normally when we see organics, it's coming from our food industry, and that is regulated by the National Organic Program, which is NOP. You might see that on some labels when you buy your food, which is governed by the USDA. So only producers and manufacturers that meet certain criteria that are set up by the NOP, they can label their products as certified organics. So I won't go into details about the program, but I will leave some information about it. and which, you know, includes, you know, their certification includes promoting biodiversity and limiting the use of synthetic pesticides and things of that nature to make that claim as being organic. But if you want to check out some details, I'll leave the link below for the USDA, and you can check that out in further detail if you want to. But the main point of organics is that they're regulated by the food industry, which is the USDA. So natural, what is the definition of natural? It's present in or produced by nature. It's not artificial or man-made, and it pertains to or concerns nature. It's not altered, nor is it treated or disguised. So when you come to natural for food, then it has gone minimal processing and it contains no preservative or artificial additives, meaning color or flavor. So once we get to that point, I'll go into detail about minimal processing within this talk so you'll know what that actually means. So for food, natural ingredients includes plants, animal, mineral, microbial ingredients. It's present in or produced by nature, hence natural. Producing uses minimum physical processing, and that's why I said we'll go into that a little bit later. But that can be the direct extraction of using simple methods as far as chemical reactions, or resulting from natural occurring biological processes, which I'll go into that also a little later in this talk. So natural ingredients are grown, harvested, raised, or processed in an ecological manner, meaning that it's not produced synthetically. It's free of all petrochemicals. It's not extracted or processed from any petrochemicals, is not extracted or processes for anything other than natural ingredients as solvents. So it's not exposed to irradiation, and it's not genetically modified or engineered, which means that it doesn't contain any GMO or genetically modified organisms. Natural ingredients do not contain any synthetic ingredients. It does not contain any artificial ingredients, including color or flavoring. So it's just as is. And it does not contain any synthetic preservatives. So natural is just as is without any of these processes associated with them. So therefore, you have the raw ingredient of what it is. So moving on to organic. What is the definition of organic? It's of or pertaining to, derived from living organisms. Organism, organic. Having properties associated with living organisms. Now, organic in food, simply stated, is organic produced or other ingredients are grown without the use of pesticides, synthetic material, fertilizer, sewage sludge, genetically modified organisms, which is those GMOs we talked about, iodizing, irradiation, and animals that produce meat, poultry, eggs, and dairy products that do not take antibiotics or growth hormones are considered organic. They can put that label on there, but there is some strict regulations to that, which I'll get to that in a moment. So the USDA National Organic Program, the NOP, defines organic as the following. Organic food is produced by farmers who emphasize the use of renewable resources and the conservation of soil and water to enhance environmental quality for future generations. Organic meat, poultry, eggs, and dairy products come from animals that are giving no antibiotics or growth hormones. Organic food is produced without using most conventional pesticides, fertilizers made with synthetic ingredients, or sewage sludge, bioengineering, or ionizing radiation. Before a product can be labeled as organic, a government approved certifier inspects the farm where the food is grown to make sure the farmer is following all the rules necessary to meet the USDA organic standards. Companies that handle or process organic food before it gets to your local supermarket or restaurant must be certified too. So for products, the USDA classify three labeling uh, categories for organic products. One, 100% organic means that it's made with 100% organic ingredients. If it's organic that's just on it, it's made with at least 95% organic ingredients. If it says made with organic ingredients, then made with a minimum of 70% of organic ingredients, with strict restrictions on the remaining 30%, including that no GMOs are found within it. There is no agreed meaning to the word organic or natural. Unlike food, from which it's derived, the terms are regulated for cosmetic, which means company can use them pretty freely, but there becomes a problem because if you look at my previous episode, Are Beauty Companies Telling You Lies? This is a gray area where those companies fall into. So that'll be attached in the link below that you guys can take a look at that and see that also. Because we have companies that are using that word natural and organic just interchangeably at the same time, or things of that nature. So you really need to understand where it actually lies. There is no standard definition in the beauty industry, which we've seen. Unfortunately, this makes it harder to decipher you with you being a consumer on the benefits of what's natural and organic in beauty products. Some beauty companies' ingredients come from a natural source, and then it's natural. Conventionally, they conventionally sometimes overlook that fact, that there may be some chemical modification to them, and they won't work in the way that you will be desired for what they're looking to get out of the product. So that's something we have to be careful about. Also, products like shampoos, conditioners, and body washes, they mostly contain water. So therefore, if you have a shampoo, for instance, that has 90% water, water is natural, right? So could that company actually say that their product is natural? Well, they could and be still telling you the truth. But you're looking from a source of what people believe organic to mean, and two, is within the law. So they can actually get away with saying those things sometimes. But again, you really have to pay attention to what ingredients are in the product that they're claiming and or using. You remember my rule of thumb, the first 5 ingredients is what's in the product. So if you follow that rule, you'll be okay. So there is a strict process or regulations coming about as of 2019 of what organic and natural is. They're trying to make it tighter that companies can't get around it. There are only a few companies that have products that are truly organic, and there's a very few because it's a really, really strict definition. But when you're calling your stuff organic, you need to really follow in the footsteps of what food industry is talking about, because they're the ones that set the precedent of the difference between classifying natural versus organic. And we in the beauty industry don't have that type of regulation. So if buying organic is the priority item for you, then you will have to take your own initiative to look at the labels again, and visit that company's website to understand what's in it, what's not, and how they're selling their products. Few beauty companies that receive the USDA certified, which means that it contains at least 95% organic ingredients, they'll have that USDA certificate seal on the actual packaging. So when you look at a product, you'll see this seal, which I'm going to show you now. Now, there is a representative that's trying to introduce the Natural Cosmetic Act since November 2019, and it will go under the 1938 Act of the Federal Food and Drug Cosmetic Act. So what it's trying to do is to take out some of the labeling, the false labeling that's there, and is trying to maintain some accountability. So this bill will require suppliers to conduct that carbon 14 testing, which they could submit to the manufacturers. And if the bill passes, it will also give the FDA authority to issue cease distribution orders, or public notice to the FDA website will go up, and there could be a voluntary recall authority of products that's deemed to be misbranded under the Act. So that means that the FDA or the USDA can come in and actually start governing what people are saying on their products. And that will hold a lot of the small companies to the carpet, because it's a lot of smaller companies that are using these words and back and forth and are not really on the up and up with it. So that creates a problem. So when we go back to process, remember I said I was going to explain minimal processing and process by synthetics. So minimal processes is means the ingredients has or had no more than processing that something would that you can make in a lab, a kitchen, on the farm, or whatever, in a vineyard. It doesn't mean that they actually to be made in those settings, but it will require equipment or technology which can be employed in those settings, which will give you simple extractions, simple chemical reactions, including cleaning, cold processing, dehydration, desiccation, drying, evaporation, filtering, grinding, infusing with water or alcohol, or you could do water or steam distillation, which you get that on farms or stuff like that. So synthetic processing is something that is man-made, that comes along with all of those same attributes, but it's not coming from a natural source. So if as we work as cosmetic formulators, from time or two, you get marketing companies saying, hey, or a consumer saying that, hey, we want something natural or organic in our formulations. We want it to be this or that. And it will be lovely if we could go to a list and say, okay, these are the items within which we can use, and that's great. But by there being no clear definition, that's something that we cannot do. And that's why the reason the term natural and organic have no definition under the FDA, FD&C Act, the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, which is a law that defines how cosmetics are regulated. So And it's similar in the EU. There is no clear definition for natural organics there too. So the pivotal question of the day is, what natural or organic ingredient do you like to use and why? You can leave it in a comment below. And we'll like to say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when the next video is out. And if you found this information informative, helpful, insightful, useful, please share it with someone else so they can get a better understanding of what's the difference between natural and organic. And as always, you can always follow us on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest at Pivotal Hair. We will love to see you there. And if you can also leave a comment of how you come to find us and how you know about us. So next time, I don't know what the topic is. I know many other things have been going on. So we're going to just close out there and say bye. Thanks for listening.